Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going over Python file I/O. So that's reading and writing to files using Python. And you can do a lot of cool things with it. So the first thing I'm going to introduce you to is the open function. It's a built-in function inside of Python, and it takes two parameters. One is the name of the file you want to open. So we're just going to make one called test.txt. Now what it's going to do is it's going to search whatever directory my main.py is in. You can supply a file path to this, but we're just going to work within this source directory right here. It's going to search for test.txt, but it doesn't exist, so it'll end up creating it. So the file is going to be called test.txt, and then you need to supply what mode it's going to be operating on the file on. So there's a bunch of different ones, but we're only going to be going over a couple of them today. There's read, write, and append. And then there's also a ton of other ones you can research, and I'll probably do videos on them later. But the easiest ones you can use to learn how to use this function is read and write and append. So for read, you just put an R. For write, you just put a W. And for append, you just put an A. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to make a file. So we're going to put write. So what this is going to do, this is going to return an actual file object. So we need to store it into a variable. So I'll just do, I'll just do my file and store it in a variable called my file. So on the next line, we're going to do my file dot, and the function is called write. So just write, and you're just going to pass in what you want to write to the file. So we'll just do hello world, and we'll write that to the file. Now, whenever you're working with a file inside of Python, you always want to end, after you're done operating on the file, you always want to end with the close function. And the reason that is, you actually can get away without doing this, but what's going to happen is if you have multiple programs operating on this file at one time, it can cause problems. Or if for some reason your program crashes and it never closed the file out, you might run into that issue where you go to launch the file on the computer, but it's like, hey, it can't open this because it's open inside of another process. I don't know if you've ever, that's a pretty common error I've seen with like if a program crashes out. And then it's kind of hard to troubleshoot that issue, and the best thing to do is just like restart the computer. But yeah, just always put myfile.close or whatever you name the variable. If at the end of this video, I'm actually going to show you a way where you don't have to type that, but I'll save that for the end. So if we run this program, it's going to create the file and it's going to write hello world to it. And over here on the left, you're going to see test.txt pop up on the left. So we'll run it, and you see it just popped up. So if we open it up, it should say hello world, and it does. So it says hello world right there. So now what we can do, let's erase these two lines of code. We can do the same thing, but instead of write mode, we can put it in read mode. And then we can do, we'll make a variable called text, and it equals our file object's read function. So this is going to read the contents of the file and save them as a string into the text variable. So at the end, we can do print text. And whoops, I forgot. Don't forget at the end, you want to do myfile.close to close the file out. And we'll run that. What that's going to do, it should print at the bottom hello world. And it works. So there's hello world. There's some other stuff I can do as well. We can do append. So let's do myfile equals open test.txt, and we'll put an A for append mode. Now we'll do myfile.write, and what I want to do is I want to write another line that says this is some more text. And we'll do myfile.close. So what this should do is it should open the file back up. And the reason I want to do append mode, if I were to just do an R and run this, it actually starts at the beginning of the file and just erases over everything that's in it. So you want to do append. Append will go to the end of the file and then start writing what I tell it to write. So if I run this, it should make a new line that says, this is some more text. So now if I go to test, there it says, hello world, this is some more text. Some other things we can do here. Let's do myfile equals open test.txt. We're going to do read mode, and a function that I'm going to make a variable called line, and there's a function that every file object has called readLine. All right, let me explain what this does. So we have a variable called line. I have a file object here, and it has a function called readLine. What that does is it goes and reads the first line of text and stores it into this line variable, and then we're going to print it. Don't forget to close the file out, and so this should say hello world. So I'm going to run it, and it says hello world. But what we can do is let me erase this close here. So right here, we're reading the first line, storing it into the line variable, and then printing it out. But if I do it again, if I do line equals myfile.readLine, and then print the line, it should actually read the first line here, and then when I say, hey, read line again, it's going to read the second line and print it out. And we'll go ahead and close at the end. So this should print out hello world, and this is some more text. And it does it right there. Oh, and it looks like it also, when you do read line, it's going to append a new line character to it. So if I actually go into test right here, no, I don't need to do that. Yeah, it just looks like when you do that, you have to be careful because it does append a new line automatically to, that's why there's a space right here in the text. So just be mindful of that if you ever use the read line function. You can also do read lines, plural, and that just grabs all the lines of text in the document and stores them in list format. So you can do print line, and we'll do myfile.close. So this is going to print hello world, and this is some more text, but it's going to be two elements inside of a list. So there you go. You have hello world with the new line character, and this is some more text, and it's in a list format. So if you can make a program and do with that what you will. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to go over in this video, except for I'm going to show you how to not have to use this close function right here. So one thing we can do, you've probably seen this and wondered what it was and maybe someone else's code, but there's a with statement in Python, and that's kind of one of the things this is used for. You can open a document with the with statement, and then when it leaves the with statement, anything that was open in there, it will automatically close without you having to type it. So you can do with open test.txt, and we'll put it in read mode. It doesn't matter for what I'm showing you. And then after the function, we would normally assign this to a variable so we can access it within the code. So you do as my file. So you can do with open test.txt as my file, and anywhere within this block that we mentioned my file, it will access this document we just opened. So we can do myfile.read, and we'll store that into a text variable and print text. Now, because I did it this way, Python knows that, hey, when you leave this with statement, it's going to automatically close that file, so I don't have to type it. But yeah, this should do the same thing as we did before with the read function. So there you go. Hello world. This is some more text. I'll probably do a tutorial later on binary. I'll probably have to make that one easier to understand. I'll probably have to come up with some project to show you. That way it makes more sense. But yeah, you can do the same thing with binary data instead of text. You usually just prepend it with a B right here for binary read, or a BW for binary write, or it might be WB and RB. I can't remember, but I'll make a tutorial on that. I just want to do that along with like an actual project that we can make. That way I can make it make more sense. But I'll see you guys in the next one.